Hey everybody, Kenny here. What you see me doing here is the so-called 5-cut method. It is used to set the fence at the perfect 90-degree angle towards the saw blade. In short, you take as large piece of plywood as you can fit into the sled. Then you make 5 cuts. After each cut, you rotate the piece 90 degrees clockwise until you get to the 5th cut. With the 5th cut, you cut out a piece a little bit larger than normal, about an inch or so. From this offcut, you will get all the measurements and all the data you need to complete the calculations. It is very important that you use the same type of unit throughout the entire formula. You may use centimeters, millimeter, inches, feet, or whatever you want to use, as long as it is the same type of unit. After you have done all the measurements and all the calculations, you will get a value. That value will tell you how much to move the fence either clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on if it's a positive or negative value. If the value is positive, you rotate the fence counterclockwise. If the value is negative, you rotate the fence clockwise. And while I got your attention, if you like this video, remember to hit that like button. Okay, you might see the sled are done now, but that's because I messed up the first recording I did, so I had to do this again. But that doesn't really matter, the procedure is the same. What you need is a clamp of some sort, and you need a piece of wood, much like this one, and obviously the sled. Now, if you want to move the fence counterclockwise, which in this case is backwards, if I was doing it on the other side, it would be forwards. First of all, we take this piece of wood and we put it against the fence. And we put it where the screw that are holding the fence right now are. And then we clamp it down. We don't push the block very hard, just so it's, touching. And then we take a tool like this. It has like 20 blades or something like that are all a different thickness. It goes from 0.05 millimeters to 1 millimeter, at least this one does. What you do first is you loosen up the fence, you push it counterclockwise in this direction, and then you take this blade, put it between the block and the fence. And then you push the fence in, so you squeeze the blade between the block and the fence. And then you clamp the fence into position and then screw it into position. You will now move the fence counterclockwise 1 millimeter. If you want to move the fence clockwise, first of all, you put a blade, and then you put the block against the blade, where the screw that are holding the fence is. And you make sure they're tight against each other. Not really hard, but just tight. Now, we currently have a blade that are 1 millimeter thick between the fence and the block. If we remove the blade, we now have a gap of 1 millimeter. We then loosen up the fence, move it against the block and close this gap. What we have done is that we have moved the fence clockwise 1 millimeter. We then clamp the fence and screw it into position. You might have a measurement that doesn't exist on this blade. If it is, for example, 0.71 millimeters, then you simply just take this blade, it's close enough. These are very, very small difference between them. But let's say you have something that is larger than the thickest blade. Then you combine two of these blades. For example, this blade and this blade, which would be 0.7 plus 0.75, it would be 1.45 millimeters. So if you need 1.45 millimeters, you would simply just combine these two, stack them up on each other, and use it like that, and put it between. And that's all you need to know on how to adjust the fence. It doesn't matter if you don't get it right the first time. You can always just remove the screw, adjust the fence, and put in a new screw in a new hole. That's important. You cannot use the old hole. Now let's continue with the video.